Hey guys, welcome back to Michio Makes. My name is Michio and I like to make stuff. Today we've got part number 6 of the Toyota Sprinter Trueno AE86 by DeAgostini. And without further ado, let's just dive right into it. So inspecting the pack, it is again the kind of flat packs, and I actually referred to a lot of my upcoming ones, and they're all this style. There's really no boxes, and I guess these are easier to transport. That's probably the main reason why. But taking a look at the parts list today, focusing on that. It looks like we've got the other half of the block, and what you can see here is a lot of the disc brake parts, and I'm pretty sure it's probably for that. I believe that's the front left portion of the suspension, the front left strut. So looks like we're going to be assembling that part of the vehicle, the left front brake disc caliper, it looks like there too as well, and then the other half of the block. So without further ado, let's go ahead and crack this open. Okay, after unboxing that, looks like we have the booklet and the parts. Again, they came in a pretty simple mailing package with just some cardboard frames to make sure this just doesn't get crushed in transit. But we'll take a look at this first. You can see the block here. Again, we know that's going to be metal. It's the other half of the block. And it looks like we do have some brake calipers. Oh, look, that's so cute. It's a little oil filter. It might be a little blurry for you guys to see. But it is a little oil filter. I love that. That's detail. Brake calipers. The discs too as well in here. I see a distributor cap too. And it looks like our first piece of hose. So we'll see where that goes. All right. Let's take a look at the booklet here that we have. So it's this Corolla and Sprinter. Just kind of looking at this more historical documents of how the Sprinter, the different variations of it. This is probably one of the most extensive, with 110 issues. This is probably one of the most extensive, I guess, libraries of historical fact around the Corollas or Sprinters that you're probably going to see in a long time, in my opinion. There's a lot of write up around these, which is pretty awesome. Even if it's just like a page and a half with all the pictures, I mean, you've got 110 different issues to elaborate on different topics, and I think that's really cool. So with that page and a half, we dive right into the parts list here. Make sure that's in focus for you guys to see. Yeah, we got the block here, distributor cap, part of the brake system. It's the brake caliper over here. I believe that this is going to be the disc too as well. Oil filter. That looks like the spark plug wire organizer that's going to go on top, and then a bunch of screws. Again, diving right into the upgrades that you can get to the more assembly portions. Yes, and it is obviously going to be the actual brake disc, and caliper being made. Ah, so that's what I was wondering. I was like, what is this splined one here? Actually, it is a two-part brake disc. And yes, that is the organizer. It looks like the spark plug organizer that is going to be attached to the side of the block, or sorry, the head. And the cute little distributor. Look at this thing. Can you guys see that? Blurry? Hope not. The cute little distributor that goes on the side. And then the oil filter. How that bolts onto the block. I wonder what this is. Look at this. I want to use Google Translate real quick to see what this is about. Oops. Okay, after reviewing this portion down here, this part, let's see if I can zoom in. This part needs to be affixed on the side of the head. And apparently, this is being glued on a little bit. And they actually advise right here in this little red box about, hey, this is a model kit that's supposed to be assembled mostly by screws and mostly by not, kind of a mechanical fastener with the screwdriver that we have. But in some cases, you do want to have an adhesive that you want to put on to make sure this stuff doesn't come off. I'm surprised they didn't. That's just like, I guess, more of a design aesthetic. You don't really want a bolt there, a big old bolt there. But I'm curious to take a look at this piece and see that they want you to use an ABS glue, not like a. I actually got to look. ABS glues are usually more for model making, and they do dry clear. If you use a what do you call it? Super glue, CA glue, cyanoacrylate. I can't really say the scientific name, but the CA glue or AKA super glue, they do leave a white kind of residue, and that's what they're kind of warning against. Hey, you should use an ABS glue, dries clear, holds it really strong, looks really good, instead of a super glue, which could potentially leave a white residue. So take that as you will. I unfortunately don't have any ABS glue, so I might need to come back to do this part and how they advise to do it. But I will definitely look to get that. Get some. And look what we have here. Our first hose. And that looks like it's coming from this hard line. I think it's the water pump. Is that the water pump? I believe it is, actually. Let me double check that. So they've got that part right here. 6B as cylinder head rear plate. I'd have to take a look and see exactly what the functionality of that part is. I'm curious because they do have a hose running to it, and I don't know if that actually is part of the water pump or not. I guess it's in the rear, and usually water pumps are in the front, so probably not. Yeah, this is in the rear of the engine, closer to the firewall. Okay, without further ado, let's go ahead and crack this set open. We'll start off with the main attraction, which is the other side of the cylinder block. As mentioned, metal. I don't even know if we attach it to the side, from what I could see. We've got the spark plug wire holder, it looks like. I believe this is the oil filter holder. Oil filter is going to attach to that. Oh my gosh, this is probably the coolest part, I think, thus far. Let's see if I can get the detail on that. Will that focus? Look at that. It's super small to notice on there. Oil filter is so cute. It's actually got the part number in there. I guarantee you, if I went online, looked at that part number, if you guys look at that part number, it will be the oil filter. It is plastic, it is not metal, but it is so unbelievably cute. The brake caliper this is plastic. Sorry, I think this is a piston, right? Or not piston holder, but part of the brake system. This is the piece that they said you should glue, and I actually don't know exactly what the piece is, but apparently you're supposed to glue it on the head itself, and I will probably do that when I do get some ABS glue. Here's part of the, I believe it's the knuckle, part of the brake system. Here's the hose, our first hose that we're going to have to put on. I believe this is a coolant hose, and I do believe there are going to be doing like vacuum lines too, but they're going to be pretty small, right? Part of the brake system. Super tiny distributor cap. Look at that. So cute. And obviously it looks like the alignment with everything, there will be spark plug wires that would be going directly to this distributor cap, but not in this set. Metal, or sorry, not metal, this is a plastic bushing or something, we'll see in a second. Looks like the brake dust housing for the left front brake, and this is actually metal. Part of the brake discs themselves, and from what I can see, these are keywayed, so they go in the exact spot they need to be, and they kind of get combined like that. That's pretty cool. So you can even see the vents on the inside. That's really cool. And for our screws, we've got AM, and we got SM too as well. And that is the parts for this set. Okay, without further ado, after looking at all the parts, we'll get started. So it looks like the first part we're going to be doing is actually just attaching part of the brake caliper to the dust shield here using screws AP. Wow, I actually got really scared there for a second. I was like looking at the instructions. I noticed I was like, the first step involves screws AP, and I have nothing. I checked the bag, and they're actually not inside the plastic housing. They were just kind of floating in there. So I do have the AP screws here, thankfully. TM screws here, which I had no idea that they were there. VM. And another hose. So we have 2 hoses we got to attach today. So, really lucky, really glad I actually looked and didn't just toss this packaging in the garbage. So, got all the parts. Okay, as mentioned, the first part involves this brake dust protector, and then also actually these parts of the caliper. And you put them together like so, and then you screw them on using screws AP. What's really great is that they're really labeled really well, all these little baggies. And also, they give you a lot more than you need because these things can easily disappear if you drop one or whatever. And also, this screwdriver is actually perfect for it because it actually is magnetic, but also the exact pitch that you need. All right, that one's assembled. Okay, with that assembled, we are going to be flipping this over and then attaching this portion on the top side here. Guys see that okay? Top side right there. Use another AP screw. Now, we're actually going to be taking the front suspension portion that we've already assembled. Let me go and zoom out on this one. And it looks like... Okay, so it looks like we take this front suspension part that we had assembled in our previous video and take this alignment and put it down here. Now, thankfully, let's go ahead and focus on that. These are actually keyed really well along with this too. So it's kind of hard to screw up. And you just place this over like this. Get it lined perfectly. And we're actually going to be using a different screw than the one we've been using. We're using the TM screw actually. And these ones actually are a little bit different. All the other ones that we've been using, the other nomenclatures, have looked the same. These actually have a flat top on the top. You can see that. It's a little bit different. Oops. I'm not going to screw it in all the way because it's a good idea to give yourself a little bit more room for alignment. Okay, got this attached. It was a little bit more difficult just because it was a flat top and you couldn't really get too much purchase on the threadings on here. Luckily, I didn't thread any of these or rip up the threads, but it looks okay. Next portion, we're actually assembling the disc, which actually I've kind of already done already. There are no bolts on this too as well. And they claim that once you get this kind of snapped together, step complete. We don't need to do anything else about getting this inserted or anything. It is just done. So we'll go ahead and put this to the side. Next, we've got to grab the actual engine again. And it looks like we are going to be putting on the plug wire holder right here. And from what I can see, it goes right here. There's a little alignment point right there. It goes right in the top hole. Right there. Looks great. Next part is actually the distributor cap with the housing for the distributor. These are actually really small, really cute parts. There is a keyway that we need to follow. You can see right there. Zoom in right there and right there. So I actually do need to rotate this. If you want to do that like that. Like line it right there. Aligned, perfect. And then we take a AP bolt. All right, and then we got our cute little distributor. Now this will go on the side, actually, and that's why they wanted you to mount this first, the plug wire holder. Put that on first, because this will go right here, right on the side. And we're going to be using SM. Screws. Oh, this one doesn't want to find the hole. There it is. Now it's biting. I'm never trying to like super over torque these, because I don't want to break any of the plastic parts. I don't want to strip a screw or strip the threads on top of the screw. So as long as it holds, I'm good. And this is actually not super secure. You can kind of tell how wobbly it is. The housing portion is plastic, so you know this is not the distributor housing portion is not metal, which would have been a lot nicer. But obviously, you know, you'd want to invest in all these metal parts. But that's gonna be a little sketch, just because it is can wobble. It is kind of a sensitive part right here too as well. Okay. Next portion is the oil filter. Super cute. I actually, this is probably my favorite part of the set so far. So this actually goes like this. this portion, plug it in right there, and we're going to use an AP bolt. I might keep this kind of loose just so that I can adjust orientation, because I do like that Toyota symbol. I want to be able to see that in the engine bay. Little cute Toyota right there. So cute. This actually goes on the other block. So this is the part that's not attached to the head. So this one actually goes, let's see here. Look, I can figure out this alignment in the picture. Like that. And then these 3 bolt holes. And this goes down. Okay. That aligns like right there. And we're using screws AM. Okay, actually, before I screw this down, I want to figure out the alignment, how I want to put this. Just goes down like this. I want to be able to see that. So I want Toyota up like this. Just like that. Just to be able to see it. Lock down like that. There it is. Oil filter attached to the block. I've got the Toyota symbol up top. You're gonna be able to see it. I'm not, I believe, attaching this to this, but I kind of want to take a look. Look at that. So when you pop the hood, you will be able to see the Toyota right there on the oil filter. Did that detail? So cool. Oh my gosh, I love this. I would love to just get a model of the 4AG or even other engines, 3SGTE, 2JZ, RB, and just have scale model like this, just hyper detailed scale model like this, and just have this on my desk. I love this. This is so cool. But it's going to go into the entire vehicle, so can't complain, right? So next actually portion is the one we looked before about the ABS glue. Now this actually goes, looks like right here. And there's a little slot here. You can see. Put that down. Focus on that. Actually, focus on this. And it looks like this slot goes right here. And, I can understand the cleanliness, right? You want to have it kind of clean. I will glue this. I will get some ABS glue. I do need to order some because I don't have any, but I will get some ABS glue. They actually, which is nice in this photo, everything marked in red is where you should glue to make sure that it actually gets full coverage. Because if you actually, let's take the part off. Knocked one off now. There she goes. This one looked like it came off a little bit. If you look at the back side, all these surfaces actually are going to be touching the metal portion too as well. So I will get some ABS glue. I think it's just like regular modeler's glue, and then get this attached, but not right now. I don't have any on hand. And I would rather just use what they have actually suggested. Okay, actually, so that's actually going to be delaying this just a little bit, and I might need to finish up this video in the future. But you can see that this portion right here, hope that's in focus for you guys. You can actually see it. You can see right here, this is the part we're going to be attaching with glue. There's this, looks like a coolant hose, water coolant hose that attaches to the backside of this portion right here. So we've got another hose, this longer hose, longer, skinnier hose. Going to be attaching the backside, and it's just going to be hanging off right now. And actually, that is the last part for this portion of the assembly. So I will be right back. It's going to be maybe a day for me, but it'll be like an instant for you. But I will be right back with some ABS glue so that I can get this attached before we finish up this video. So I will see you guys in just a minute, but probably a day for me. Okay, guys, welcome back. It's been a few days for me, actually, but by around 2 seconds for you. But I've actually picked up some modeling glue, and it is the Tamiya cement. This is not exactly what they were looking for. This is not as thick as what they kind of described to put it on a toothpick, but I think this will be sufficient. It should dry clear, not like ABS. It is actually pretty thick, which is nice. I actually did pick up some of the extra thin too as well for other future models, and you can tell how different thicknesses in regards to these two cements here. But this should be sufficient for what I'm looking for this model. And what I'll be doing is taking some tweezers here and just kind of holding this, and then taking the brush. Get that in focus real quick. Taking the brush and brushing it on the surface right here that is going to attach directly to the engine here. So I'll try to get this, make sure this is all in focus for you guys so you're not missing out on any details. But I did lay down some plastic. This is actually the bag from the kit itself. I don't want to ruin the surface underneath here just in case there's any drips, but hopefully we shouldn't run into anything like that. If we can just make sure everything is in frame so you can see everything. Excellent. This does have a little brush attached to the top, which should be sufficient for what I'm trying to do. It definitely smells like, if you've ever worked with models before, this definitely smells like model cement. Try to get this positioned in such a way that I can actually hold it. Perfect. Try not to run this off the edges too much. Okay. Take this piece, move this glue out the way, bring this right here, it's in focus. And then the alignment is pretty simple. The biggest thing I didn't want to happen was any kind of CA glue, super glue. It does leave kind of a white residue sometimes when utilizing it, and especially if you use accelerant. And different plastic parts, it will leave a white residue, and I'd prefer that not being on this. That's why I kind of went for a model specific glue, but this actually looks really good. Okay, the next part is actually attaching this hose, and we just need to move this little orientation that we have, a little hose connector right here to the top portion to this hose right here. So this gets slid on right here. Real nice. And this one gets put right on the edge. Oops. Hold it off before the glue is set. Right there. Now that hose, that hole in the hose actually was not centered. It's okay. It doesn't matter too much as long as it kind of stays there and doesn't move around too much. It should be able to hold and help the cement just kind of sit itself there. So hopefully that'll help it set. So the last part for this kit is actually this hose right here. Attaching it directly to this port right there. Fits on just like that. It is supposed to go a little straighter, but I mean, this is just the way it was in the package. So for just some fun, let's take a look at the engine with the other side of the block in. Obviously, for this part, we're not actually screwing it on, but let's just take a peek at it. It just attaches just like that. There are going to be a couple screws that I believe come on this side, but that looks so cool already, just sitting here. The distributor. I'm going to zoom in so we can just get all of it. Oh, sorry, zoom out so you can see all of it. Look at the detailing on the distributor, oil filter, plug wires, the cam shafts that you will never see again. It just sits really pretty here too as well. Already. But this is not part of these sets, so I'm going to pull that off, as we have not assembled this half of the block just yet. Okay, guys. Well, thanks very much for joining me on part number 6 of the Toyota Sprinter Trueno AE86 model by DeAgostini. Just as a reminder, we had the other side of the block that we worked on with the oil filter. We have a couple hard lines that we put onto as well as this back retaining portion. We had the distributor installation as well as the plug wire holder installation, as well as some suspension and brake parts where we put the brake calipers on, as well as the disc here. So Thanks again for joining me today. And if you like these videos, I'd love to get a like and a subscribe. That'd be awesome. It really helps me grow the channel. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. See ya.